Hello everyone. I'm Joanne, come from Faculty of Law, University of Macau, and I also work in Shenzhen Institute of Synthetic Biology, Chinese Academy of Sciences. And I'm honored to have this opportunity to join this international conference. And over the past 2 days, I have learned a lot of frontier technology about this field, and it's evident that the cultural meat is gradually approaching the stage of market-ready product. And regulatory framework is very important in this transition. Now many countries and regions are updating their existing regulation for this innovation. So today I will to discuss a pro-innovation approach to cultural meat regulation. And I will structure my presentation into 4 aspects. First is the cultural meat. We talk so much about the cultural meat and cultural meat, cell-based meat, or lab-grown meat, or cold-weight meat. And however, a universally accepted legal definition is still lacking. We emphasize that is the legal definition. An undetermined definition usually means the undetermined regulation. So I will give a brief introduction of the regulation status of different international organizations in the country and regions. First of all is the international organization. FAO and the WHO are actively working to develop global standards for cultural meat. They emphasizing the need of clear guidelines, and the aims is to foster a harmony global marketplace for the cultural meat. And this summer, they released a comprehensive report about the food safety about cell-based meat. And then in the EU, according to the definition of novel food, in the EU, maybe the cultural meat is fall under the regulation of the novel food. And the European Food Safety Authority may be responsible for this regulation. And we figured out a brief procedure of the application. And however, in the EU, if the G editing is used, they may subject to the regulation of GMO. And until now, in the EU, still have no companies have got the a formal approval from the authorities. And the USA, the authority are divided into 2 agencies, FDA and the USDA. They released the formal agreement to regulation this novel food. And this picture shows the joint regulatory mode of FDA and the USDA. And this summer, 2 companies have already got the approval from the authorization. That may be a good news for all the industry. Singapore has been a pioneer in cultural meat regulation. They granted approval for the sale of cultural meat chicken in 2020, and it also takes us a good example for the approval innovation regulation. And the Singapore Food Agency will regulation responsible for this regulation, and notably, is they state a platform for the regulators, for the research, for the industry to keep communication about the technology, about the regulation, also for the consumer education. And we move to China because I come from China, so I will introduce some new information about China. In China, with its prosperity market potentials, is actively exploring the cultural meat regulation. And we can see that the agency responsible for the regulation maybe have 3. First of is the National Health Commission. According to the definition from the novel law food law materials in China, the cultural meat may be falls under the regulation of administrative measures for the safety review of novel law novel food raw materials. And just like in EU, if the gene editing is used in the production of cultured meat, they may be subject to the regulation on GMO. And then the agency will change to the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs. And the last step of all the company in China, they must get the food production license from the state administration, from the market regulation. And we can see from these figures that is very complex for China, for the cultural meat to get approval in China. And until now, we also didn't have any company to get approval for the authorization. And we make a comparison. From this table, we can see the agency terminology and the regulatory frameworks and the procedure of cultural meat in different authorities. That we can emphasize that is the regulatory of all the organization or the authorities take the guidelines or the requirement or some agreement to enhance the regulatory strategies. But we also face some challenges. And we try to figure out the opportunity and the challenge of cultural meat. We can see this year's a lot of technology breakthroughs and the supportive policies and the capital investment. Also the pro-innovation attitude from the authorization is good for this industry. And we still face some challenges, except technology challenges. And we can see the regulation challenges, terminology definition, or the labeling controversial, or the consumer acceptance, some social challenges. Also, the technology of cultural meat is still developing, so adaptive regulatory framework is very needed in this area. And then we will focus on the challenges. First of all is the definition. We can from this table that the terminology and definition is very different from different from countries and regions. And the legal definition of a cultural meat is crucial. A clear, universally accepted definition where can aid trade and avoid confusion. And that is, second is the labeling. A labeling is essential for consumer transparency. Take the EU as an example that they said food information should be accurate, clear, and easy to understand for the consumer. But what is the clear, accurate labeling? So it's the negative labeling or positive labeling. So have a lot of to discuss and to address. And clear and accurate labeling is also a bridge to the acceptance. And then we move to the acceptance. From these two tables, we can see that the acceptance ratio is different. The table 1, that is the people read the introduction from the cultural meat, the acceptance will be improved. That means that the consumer education is useful and important. And from the second table, we can see that the acceptance of cultural meat is different from areas. Notably that in China, the people are willing to try this novel food. So I think that the consumer acceptance is a key success, just like discussed yesterday. The regulation can ensure the safety and the quality of product, which also build the trust among the consumers. So the first we need to do some consumer education, and then the regulation need to follow up this regulation to keep the to build the trust among the consumers. And we will to think about the relationship between innovation and regulation. We think that we need to balance the innovation, promoting, and risk prevention. We propose that is big regulation before innovation. what is big regulation? That means no nicheable regulation. For example, like law, it set a boundary for the research for the companies that which can rule this. And the small regulation after innovation, the small regulation means the flexible, adaptable rules, like the guideline, like the standards. It may adaptive, adjusting to the technology developing. And we propose a pro-innovation approach to cultural media regulation, and to get this get a pro-innovation approach, many multi-stakeholders can contribute to this approach. For example, the international organization like FAO and the WHO can address the terminology and the definition of cultural meat. Meanwhile, they can also develop a clear guidelines and standards to protect public health and facilitate the trade, just like the things Codex doing. And then the countries, different countries can join innovation and join regulation. They can sign, the countries can sign bilateral or multilateral treaty to promote joint innovation and regulation, reduce the cost of R&D and reduce the cost of regulation, promote the development of industry. And then is the scientific community. Scientific community can keep the transparency in research. At the same time, the companies, the scientific communities can collaborate with the government to initiate the public dialogue for the consumer education and promote the public engage in our field. And they also can release some declaration or initiate about the responsible innovation to build the trust of the consumer. And conclusion, a pro-innovation approach to cultural meat regulation, we can leverage the soft laws like guidelines and standards and initiate to enhance the regulatory strategy. At the same time, the government can need to take a pro-innovation attitude and to balance the innovation and the regulation. And the most important is the technology is still developing, so we need to adaptive regulation to keep pace with the technology. So in this way, then we can to foster this innovation and foster this our new novel food. Okay, that's all I want to share, and thank you for your attention. Thank you.
We have time for one question, and I see a question in the back here. It's always on the other side of the room.
Always on the other side.
Okay, collaboration.
Yeah, thank you for this overview. It's always very helpful to, see different perspectives from various countries. I would like to make a comment. You had this overview regarding all rules applicable to US, Asia, the EU, and you wondered what actually clear and accurate rules, easy to understand, what they are. Well, that has to transpire through case law. We have a lot already. And actually, in this case, I would say less is more, because we have this general rule at an EU level, which also prevents member states here in Europe to invent their own. And as a very concrete example, I would like to mention a case currently ongoing in France, which is before the highest administrative law court. It's about a plant-based product for which you can't use meaty names. Now, this is now going up to the ECJ, the European Court of Justice, and hopefully they will tell them, France, no additional rules here, please.
Thanks for your comment. I learned a lot from your panel yesterday. And I also learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Let's give it a round of applause. Thank you very much.